Cowboys win because, Cowboys lose because. 877-881-1053 if you want to get in on the Franklin Frankel Injury Attorney text line or the Twitch or the YouTube. May I start with why the Cowboys win?
Yeah.
Cowboys win because Tolbert and Ferguson replicate their success from last week. So specifically their success from last week was 13 catches, 157 yards, and a touchdown. I need something very similar to that from that combination. And here's one thing I will tell you that has me optimistic about that. Detroit's pass defense is 27th in the NFL, all right? So I know they're good stopping the run, but we talked about this yesterday. That's not really the Cowboys' strength anyway. But
can you explain a little more about that statistic? Because their numbers put them in the middle of the pack, low middle of the pack in yards.
Yep.
But they don't give up a lot of passing touchdowns.
Exactly. That is true. And so if you can break through with a touchdown by one of those guys, that would be great. But also, the Cowboys have really struggled moving the ball down the field, especially. I know we've talked about the red zone, but honestly, once you get to about the 35 or 40.
Field goal range?
Yeah, it feels like. So even beyond like the green zone, if you will, they've really struggled. So against a Detroit pass defense that thus far, and I know they're coming off a bye, has not been good, I think that's an opportunity to take advantage. So I'm looking at Tolbert and Ferguson. If they can match what they did last week, we're going to be good to go.
So the green zone, that's where the air's cleaner because they're more less electricity used, less oil
maybe.
Used in that area.
Or the green zone might mean that air is a lot smokier. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like in Colorado.
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
Like we
Mean green.
Go mean green, baby. Go mean green. That's what I'm always saying. The Cowboys win because, for me, they're more physical than one of the most physical teams in the league. This is, and when I say the physicality, it's got to be exactly what it was last week against Pittsburgh for the Cowboys' defensive front. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they will run that ball down your throat all day long because Dan Campbell wants to do that. Dan Campbell wants to say, we're going to run today, and if I never have to throw, I'm fine with it. Hold on, Jared Goff only threw 15 times, and he completed every pass. Why did he do that? Because we were so good at running the ball. So you have to be a more physical team because you can blow up their plans. And when it comes to tackling, man, you got to wrap up and knock them down. You can't just hope you put a shoulder in somebody and you got them like that. This has to be the most physical defense we've seen them play all season. And if they can be that, if they can have that kind of mentality against the Detroit Lions, because they have one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best offensive line when it comes to running the ball, they will try to make you feel like you've lost your will out there. This team has to be more physical.
I was trying to figure something out on air.
All right.
If we have capability of getting a wireless mic, because I always have thought we should go wireless for Combo Platter.
Okay.
Coming up next,
okay.
But I do not know if we have that capability.
All right, gotcha.
It appears as though perhaps today,
Kevin,
we
in about
do not,
4 minutes,
maybe in the future.
In about 4 minutes, we could have asked that off air.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes I get focused and
it's okay.
I
Boomer
need
Sooner.
something
Boomer
decided
Sooner. I like
straight away. Oh, man, what do you guys think about the OU shirt in the house right there?
He's got a nice cold beer with him right now and a Sooner shirt on. Hey, hold on. This is a good man right here, I can tell.
I also hope your team wins. From the 817, Cowboys win because they force the Lions into fourth down attempts and they keep the Lions under 50% on fourth down conversions. Yeah, if you don't usually watch the Lions play or haven't for a couple of years, fourth down is not an automatic punt down by any means. And, there might be scenarios where you're like, well, it's 4th and 6. Surely they're not going to go for it. Get ready.
They love to go for it.
Yeah, they will go for it just about, if not more, than any team in the NFL.
You know, Kevin, that's one thing that if you had all the numbers, I know you could find the trend. How that affects them on first, second, third down and their play calling. Because you've been talking about the aggressive nature of, or maybe conservative nature of the kicker, the coaches that are like, hey, we're within field goal range. We don't have to. And whenever you know you're going for it on fourth down most of the time, especially if you're in their end zone or in their area of the field, are you thinking to yourself, all right, first down, we only need a few yards. So that's why we're running here. Second down, we got 4. We only need 4 yards, and then we're putting ourselves in a 3rd and 2. And if it's fourth down, we're comfortable being in a 4th and 1 situation. I wonder how much that affects Ben Johnson's play calling because he knows he has that green light when it comes to fourth down and going for it there. I'm very interested in that trend.
Now, this one's tough because I understand from the 2-4, the Cowboys lose because Okay, who the hell are we kidding? They're just going to lose. I gave a more specific answer, but I think the Cowboys are underdogs at home for a very definite reason. Cowboys lose because Aiden Hutchinson runs amok again. Hutchinson had what, at the time, was probably a career best night. Now, he just surpassed that a couple of weeks ago, but the last time he went up against the Cowboys last season, 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, 4 tackles for loss against probably a better offensive line.
Yeah.
At least at the time. That's not to say that this Cowboys offensive line can't get better. I think you can immediately look at Beebe and Guyton and Steele as people who can all step up their games this season. But I think you went up against probably a better offensive line for the Cowboys last year, and he destroyed them.
Yeah.
If he does that again, you're in trouble.
All right, my Cowboys lose on my side, Kevin, is they can't keep Dak upright. Dak, listen,
I get it.
We talked about it with Jerry Jones this morning regarding the run game, and as much as we want, not Zeke out there, even though Zeke wants to be out there, that's good to hear. Do you feel like that's good to hear from Zeke of, hey, man, I came here, I want to help?
I don't know. I'm conflicted because then Jerry said that's a misrepresentation.
Yeah, because
of
they're
what
saving
was actually
him.
said.
They're saving him and Dalvin Cook for the meat of the season. And I don't know. I don't know if that's real. Like, maybe that was the plan all along, is let's work this out, and then later we'll have a better run game. But if they can't keep Dak standing upright in this game, you just pointed out 27th. You want to attack this team in the air. You don't want to attack them on the ground. If they can't do that, then Dak's not going to have the chances to put the points on the board they need.
From the 469, the Cowboys win because Taylor Decker doesn't report as eligible. Okay, there's no way that happens again, right?
You think it's going to be that close again? That kind of play comes down to something like that between these teams?
I hope so.
Yeah?
I do. Like, if you tell me that right now it's going to be that close, I'm like, great. That's tremendous. Because I think a lot of people, despite the spread, think the Cowboys are going to get worked in this game.
Choppy said this morning, and it wasn't a Cowboys win because Cowboys lose because, but he was like, the Lions are now what the Niners used to be. And I was like, man,
okay.
I don't know if I agree with saying that when the last time they played the Niners, they lost to them, right? Like they lost to them in the playoffs because they got out physicaled in that game too. So I'm not ready to prepare to say that they are what they are yet, but I mean the Lions have solidified their place and they're a very good team in the NFC.
Now, Corey, this would be a double whammy for you. From the 817, Cowboys lose because OU loses and CD pouts about it.
No, he's not going to pout about it. I think if I heard correctly, I think CeeDee Lamb thinks that Texas is going to win.
I told you that earlier in the show.
I don't know exactly where I heard this information from.
You heard it from me.
But
and DeMarvion Overshow.
I think I was listening. Yeah, thank you, Alec. I appreciate that. I think the sources may have been the morning show, maybe G-Bag. By the way, you can get a Whataburger G-Bag flag right here at Buffalo Wild Wings today.
It was us.
It was on this station. You're right, Kevin. It was definitely on this station. But he's thinking that they might win. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that, CD.
I don't know how you feel about this either. From the 512, Cowboys lose because Mike quit the show. Mike did not quit the show. Yeah. He'll be back on Tuesday.
It's tough.
Though I would argue,
we're having to do
wouldn't
more
the Cowboys
work now.
win if Mike quit the show? Like, Mike is not known as Cowboys fan number 1 or 1 million. I feel like they would be more motivated to win if Mike's like, I'm done.
Okay, so in the time that Mike has been on air at this station, they have not won a Super Bowl. That's all I got to say about that.
It's true.
In your face.
I mean, that's true for all of us, though, right?
You didn't have to do that, man.
Okay.
You didn't have to say that.
Sorry. Alec, do you have a Cowboys
You
win
always want to win an argument, Kevin.
Look, that is a fair point. Look, if you want me to just start listing off personality issues I have, that is certainly one of them, but there are many others.
I mean, you were right. I'm not going to lie.
Alec, do you have a Cowboys win because Cowboys lose because?
Cowboys win because they score more than the opposition. No,
oh, my God,
Look at that, Alec.
I'm going to say that the Cowboys win this game because they do get off to that fast start that you guys asked Jerry Jones about. And I feel like that might be a bit of a low-hanging fruit because it has been a storyline for the entire season now. But There is something emphatic and something important about establishing a rhythm and a sense of dominance even right at the beginning of the game. So if you win that toss, take the ball on offense, go score. And I think you talk about all the time, that's their excuse every time the Joneses come on this station is, well, the run game isn't there because we're playing from behind all the time. When you play from ahead, you can try to find some rhythm. So that's my Cowboys win because Cowboys lose because they give up 1,000,000 yards in the rushing department because David Montgomery is still a force. He has been every year. And Sean talked about it during the morning show earlier today that it's amazing. It seems like he puts up 800 yards and multiple touchdowns every single year. And then, his running mate is a first-round running back that everybody made fun of him for at first. But Jahmyr Gibbs is a threat.
I was one of those people. I'll admit they took him too high, but that's looking like a pretty darn good pick right there.
Yeah, I think they're happy.
Probably so.